Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of your second favorite movie podcast, Theme on Screen. As always, I'm your forever fabulous post-birthday host, Katelynn Pedri, and with me is Paul Gursky.
If you haven't been paying attention, this month we're celebrating everyone's second favorite co-host, Katelynn.
I know it barely counts as a theme, but what can I say? I really love when people pay attention to me.
So whether it's sexy muffin men, sexy sous chefs, or sexy birding enthusiast, this month is all Katelynn all the time.
So wish me a happy birthday, and let's explore Theme on Screen. Timothy Shalla ass.
You're really changing up the things that you think are sexy in the script to try to throw me for a loop.
Yeah, I was really into the birding enthusiast this month.
Yeah,
It's I'm
sure.
A big community.
I think it is a big community. Isn't that how the whole hantavirus thing got started? It was a birding cruise and they were on a trash island and got bitten by a rat.
Well, actually, I didn't know anything about it. I was like keeping my peace.
That's a totally real thing because, the trash island attracts a lot of weird birds, but also rats because it's a trash island. So,
where is the trash island?
I believe I heard today, I was listening to a podcast that was mentioning it. I think it's off the coast of Argentina. It's basically just an island that they use as a landfill.
Like our trash too?
I don't know who ships their trash there.
Like our trash or Argentinians' trash.
It might be just Argentinian trash, but I don't know. The way trash works in the world is kind of crazy. So, yeah, welcome to episode 29, everyone. There is your idle chit-chat, witty banter where we talk about the future of pandemics and birds and trash.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I learned something. I hope you guys learned something.
Well, they did.
Listeners.
Or maybe everyone knew that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah, episode 29. So podcast now officially has 29? More episodes than Katelynn has been alive, like years-wise. I could have said that in a more, whatever. It was funny.
You're really going through it.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny when you thought of it.
It's a rare Thursday night recording when I don't have to work tomorrow, so I'm going crazy and drinking a Coke Zero, everyone.
Oh my gosh, yeah, wow. Full shugs on that?
No, it's Coke Zero, so zero shugs, but full caffeine this late at night.
Zero shugs, full caffeine.
Mm-hmm. That's how I roll.
I mean, I might also open up a bottle of wine after this too. So
I'm just gonna pour some. I should just pour some Jack into it right now. Let's go ham. Yes, we're at the end of Katelynn month, so.
Yeah, everyone says finally.
I'm not saying finally. I had a good time. How do you think Katelynn month went for you? Do you feel like you were properly celebrated?
Yeah, I feel like I was properly celebrated. I'm waiting for you and Katie, though, to celebrate me. That's what I'm really waiting for. And John hasn't actually celebrated me yet. Like, he gave me a gift and everything, but I was gone. And then we did something the next weekend and the next weekend. So I'm hoping that he'll go out to eat with me.
Oh, look at you. You're so busy with all your plans. I guess everyone just chose to celebrate Katelynn this month.
I don't know what that's about. I work really hard to not make friends, and somehow I've got like 8 of them.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. Why do we have a podcast?
All the work that I've done, it's just waste. Just a waste. It's fine. But I'll hang out with you guys at the end of the month. So one more.
Yeah, we are celebrating your birthday next weekend. A month late, but whatever.
It's all right.
We've celebrated enough. I mean, not enough. I'm looking forward to celebrating you going out to dinner and whatever we do next weekend. But we have done plenty of fun things around your birthday, like going to see the movie that we were talking about today. And we had the derby party, and that was right around your birthday, so it felt like a celebration for your birthday. And you hung out with Katie once. I feel like maybe we hung out another time, but I can't remember. Did we? I don't know. Happy birthday.
I'm shaking my head no, listeners. Thank you. Well, besides this movie, do you have any other recent movies watched? I know you had a fun movie-going experience.
I do.
Besides this one.
I did. So I talked about how I had initially watched the first Gundam Hathaway movie. So I went to see, I have to just look at my letterbox to get the full title. Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, The Secret of Nymph Cersei. So that is the second in the Hathaway Gundam trilogy, currently playing in theaters. and I went to see it solo because, as listeners of the pod will note, he is not really a huge anime fan. So if I was going to see this one in theaters, I had to bite the bullet and see it by myself. So I guess the answer could be no, and this could not be an interesting discussion at all. But have you ever gone to the movie theater by yourself, Katelynn?
No, I
Never? Not
have
once?
not. It was only within the last maybe year and a half that I even started going to restaurants on my own. When I realized that like you could just sit up at the bar and nobody would really bother you. So I'm gonna have to work up to a theater visit on my own, especially with how bad it's been going for me recently.
For all of us. So I did used to go to the theater by myself quite a bit because there was that college phase where it wasn't like I was a friendless loser, but everyone was either working or in class. So if I had a Friday night and no one was free, I'd just be like, you know what? I want to go see Superbad tonight. So yeah, I did stuff like that back in the day, but it has
Back when
been
the theater meant something.
back when the theater meant something and you could, hear a movie without everyone else's idle chit chat. And oh yeah, I guess I can talk about my brief experience at the Gundam movie before we talk about Caitlin's experience at all of our experience at Devil Wears Prada 2. Um, but yeah, there were talkers. I did go on $5 Tuesday, which I don't generally like to do because it seems to bring out more of the riffraff because it's so cheap. But I got into the theater and there were just two, had to be like older than my mom, so 70-plus-year-old women sitting in the front row, and I like had to check my ticket to make sure I was in the right theater because I was like, there's no way these two ladies are here for the second Gundam movie. But try not to pass judgment, like maybe they were big anime fans. But as soon as the movie started, it was clear they didn't care. Like they were just paying $5 to sit in some air conditioning and talk, and they were probably had just been
Yeah.
at theater all day and were just like trying to get into like lesser seen things so they could talk and like whatever else they were doing. And yeah, I mean, 20 minutes in they left because they clearly weren't there for the movie. But free advertisement right now. I did invest in these loop earplugs. So that's the case. I'm gonna pull it out and show the listeners here. Probably can't see.
Oh, okay. I thought you put thought you put the whole
Oh
little
no,
circle on.
it's
I get
it's
it.
a regular
Okay.
old earplug, but they do have this little switch on them. So there's 3 different settings, just to you know, just how depending
Low,
on
medium, high.
how much volume you want to block out. And it helped a lot because I told Caitlin it was like I could hear the annoying old ladies talking, but it was more like just ambient background noise. It blocked them out just enough that I could focus on the movie, and I didn't have any trouble actually hearing or paying attention to the movie. So I do think it sucks that I have had to invest in earplugs in order to pursue one of my hobbies, and people should just stop being shitty. But until that happens, I'm gonna give a tentative thumbs up to these loop earplugs. I would probably need to try it again in a busier theater because there were only about 6 of us there to see the Gundam movie on a Tuesday night. But so far, so good. It's a workaround for, people sucking.
Even you talking about it right now, my heart is racing. Like my whole body is just like tensing up. Like
It happens to me too. I was sitting there
ugh.
like just during the previews when they were talking during the previews, and I honestly feel like if someone's just talking the entire previews, they're going to keep talking during the movie too. But I did feel like my heart was racing a little bit, like I was just tense. Like, oh God, is this going
Yeah.
to happen again? There's 6 fucking people, and it's an anime movie on Tuesday night. Just let me watch this movie in peace.
Just let me have this. Just
Yeah.
let me fucking have this. Like, and you cannot have this. You have to literally buy earplugs.
Yeah, but I don't know. What can you do? So that is the only movie I have watched that is not a movie we're talking about for this podcast. But we did go see The Devil Wears Prada 2. We're talking about Devil Wears Prada and Devil Wears Prada 2, our second ever double feature. And we had a totally normal and great time watching The Devil Wears Prada 2, right?
Yeah, you'd never know that anything happened to us because we're normal and well-adjusted humans who didn't have we had a terrible time. We had a terrible time.
I think, to be fair, you had the worst time because you were closest to the chit-chats.
Yeah. So listeners, are you in a lightning storm?
I hit the cord for the lamp with my foot.
Listeners, so like Paul said, you can kind of anticipate that if people are talking during the previews that they will continue. And this is a great example of that because I actually thought that these 3 ladies who were quite a bit older, probably the same age you said these other ladies were, maybe upper 70s,
They
mid
were
70s.
elderly.
They were of the elderly persuasion. Clearly had just watched the original Devil Wears Prada because they thought that their commentary was the most important commentary that needed to be given, and apparently there was nobody else in the theater. And I had checked probably an hour before we went to the movie to see if anybody was going to be sitting next to us, and nobody was. So I was like, oh, this is so good. Honestly, maybe they didn't even buy the tickets. I don't know, because like I said, up until an hour before that, nobody was sitting next to us. Well, they chose to sit right next to me, one seat in between, and talk the entire time. And I just like, I didn't even have it in me at that point to give them a shush, or because they're old too. Also, like, you know, a shh doesn't, it's not the same as like some dipshits. Like, these were like grown women, and I just felt so uncomfortable. Like I said, my whole body was tensed up. I actually went to the bathroom halfway through the movie. I didn't even have to go, Paul. I just got up to leave. I just couldn't sit next to him anymore. I didn't know what to do. And so I did miss a chunk. I don't know why she was in Italy, but I guess we'll talk about that. Sorry. Our friend Lindsay from the podcast, friend of podcast Lindsay, ended up getting up and did go over there and say something to them. But of course, they couldn't hear her saying anything. And so they were like, what? What? And the one in the middle was like, oh, sorry, like actually realized that they were talking too loud. And they did get a little bit lower after that, but it was still just kind of intermittent chatter, intermittent commenting. And I don't know if that caused how I feel about this movie, or if the movie was actually the way that I think that it was. But I don't think, Paul, that I can go to a movie again for a while. I can't
Maybe
afford the loop right now. So
for your
I'm going to have to wait
birthday,
until I
maybe
can
I'll
afford the loop.
invest in a pair of loops for you. You just tell me what color loop you like.
I I could feel like, I mean, it was probably just full blown anxiety, or maybe like an anxiety attack. My heart was racing. My arms and my legs were just tightened up because I was trying to just like hold in my anger. And I did end up writing an email to the theater. I'm sure they really don't give a fuck. But I'm going to call them out right here. The MJR Marketplace, fuck you for not caring about your I almost said constituents, for not caring about your
Constituents.
people who come into the theater to have a pleasant experience. They claim that they have people who, I've said this before on the show, that they claim they have people who walk through once an hour. And I did. I saw
I
him.
saw him too.
He stayed for approximately 12 seconds, clicked 3 things on his iPad, and walked out.
Yeah, and obviously when they see someone come into the theater, they stop talking because, I don't know, they're not stupid.
Yeah.
But it's not doing anything. I mean, and I don't know the solution honestly has to be an employee in every movie, every screening in every
in the movie,
movie
yep.
that's just sitting there the entire time and kicking people out for talking. And I know they probably don't have the money to pay that many people to just sit there and watch movies all day. But other than that, I don't really know how MJR solves the problem because... And yeah, I mean, I'll say fuck you, MJR, too, because obviously this isn't the first time. But I don't think it's an MJR exclusive problem. I think it's a problem with just people in general.
Just less inclined to shush because it's not going to fix anything.
Yeah. Well, occasionally it does. It worked during Barty Supreme, right? But I mean, this wasn't even like Lindsay didn't even shush. She got up and politely asked them to stop. Like, and she wasn't sitting next to them. Lindsay was the furthest away, so she was probably being affected the least by them. But I think she could tell that the rest of us were just like, I mean, we could all see you out of the corner of our eye. You were clearly anxious because you were like moving your head forward and stuff. And you know, Lindsay,
I was so bad.
It wasn't a shush or any, like, she got up and tried to do it politely, and even that was just too much for them. So I don't know, listeners.
Yeah.
I did see a movie after already, and I'm gonna try again. And maybe earplugs are just what I've got to do going forward, but it's hard, especially when you have a movie podcast and the theme of your podcast is watching a movie in theaters and then talking about other movies with that theme. So yes.
I don't know. Friend of podcast, Katelynn, she went to the theater, said it was great last week, but she's seen Mando and Grogu this coming weekend, so she's pretty worried. But she goes to Imagine and says that it's great. And we've only tried Imagine once.
And did have a terrible experience, to be fair.
And had a terrible experience. but I'd be willing to try Imagine again. I think I just need to switch.
Yeah, that's fine. I think at least Mando and Grogu, if you're seeing it this weekend, if you get to see it in IMAX or Dolby where the sound is so loud, other people don't matter. And I think, I mean, our next movie we're supposed to see in theaters for this pod is Disclosure Day. So hopefully, if we feel up to that, we can see it in a very loud theater so that at least it drowns out people talking.
Otherwise, I will be investing in the small theaters that will play any movie of your choice. I don't know how much it's going to cost me, but I'm willing to pay the money.
I thought you were going to say like a taser or something, or like pepper spray, or, maybe that's too violent. Maybe we should just get like silly string or like one of those like compressed air things you use for dogs when they're being bad and just like every time someone's talking.
I don't know what you're
You don't
talking
wanna
about,
try
but
that?
all of it sounds great. Yeah, all of
Okay,
it sounds
well,
great. Or
we've-
I'm just going to start like booing people. Boo! Stop talking.
I mean, I do think we
boo!
should bring back public shaming, and I know
No, 100%
have-
bring back public shaming.
people don't feel bad about things anymore.
People do not. It made me think of when we were in New York and we were walking to the restaurant in Central Park and I saw two girls making a TikTok and, they were right in front of the beautiful little lake that they have where kids play boats and ducks are and all this other stuff. And they've got their two cameras propped up and they're dancing. Not that they needed to be shamed, but also like go do something else.
You think, well, I mean, I could
get
say
out of
influencers might be the problem, that like we're so invested in like putting everything we do or think on our phones for other people to consume, but we have a podcast where we're doing that right now. So
I know, I was going to say, as we put everything online for people to consume of ours.
Are we ending the
well,
podcast now? Not because I got sick of it, but just because we don't want anyone. No one needs our opinions.
I think like 8 to 12 people at any given time need our opinions.
Yeah, do get a lot of good feedback from Matt Turner. We could just
So
record
one person
a podcast and
we're
send it to Matt
just
Turner.
send it to him.
Just him.
New episode for you, buddy. I hope you like The Devil Wears Prada. Speaking of which, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, we've got 2 movies to talk about, so I guess we don't need any more chit chat. You didn't watch any other movies that you wanted to touch on?
No, I've been watching Sex and the City, so it'll give you a chance to catch up to me since I've been steaming through, steamrolling through movies.
I hit Gundam the other day was my 60th movie of 2026, so I'm at 60 movies so far.
All right. Well, I'll see you again at 100.
40 to go. Maybe I can finish 40 by this weekend. It's a holiday, though. So I'm going to go over the cast of the first Devil Wears Prada. I kind of had them separated by movie. I don't know how you wanted to do this, because we're not really comparing and contrasting.
I just wrote them both in the same... Oh, no. No, I wrote them in the same thing. I just wrote them in the same thing.
Okay, well, I'm going to say the cast of the first movie now. It's largely the same in the second movie. But we have Meryl Streep as Miranda Priestley, who is loosely based on Anna Wintour. Anne Hathaway plays Andy Sachs. Emily Blunt plays Emily Charlton. The great Stanley Tucci plays Nigel Kipling. We've got Simon Baker in the first movie. He does not return for the second movie as Christian Thompson, a well-known journalist whose face is on the side of buses. Adrian Grenier from Entourage. I honestly didn't know who he was.
You don't know Adrian Grenier?
No, I'm pretty sure it's, whatever. Nate Cooper, he's Andy's boyfriend in the first movie. I don't know. Is there anyone else that's really important that comes back? Oh, the friend. What's the friend's name? Tracy Toms as Lily. Rich Summers in here from Mad Men. Like
Okay.
that guy. Anyone in the second movie? Let's see. Justin Theroux's in the second movie as Benji Barnes, who's kind of an Elon Musk / Jeff Bezos figure. Kenneth Branagh is in here as Stuart Simmons, Miranda's new wife. Lucy Liu is Sasha Barnes, Benji's ex-wife, aka what's Jeff Bezos' ex-wife's name?
Madison McKenzie?
Sure, I'll trust you. BJ Novak. I tried to be a little bit on theme because BJ Novak, and whatever.
Yeah, close.
He plays some guy. Yeah.
The son of the former owner of Runway magazine.
I didn't know Pauline Chalamet was in there. I honestly don't know what she looks like.
She was sitting at the table. She asked she had one line, like one question.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see Rachel Bloom pop up.
And Simone
actually.
Ashley.
Oh, Who? Oh, yeah.
Simona Ashley from Bridgerton.
Okay. I didn't see that season of Bridgerton. I only ever watched the first one. Yeah, that's pretty much
She's
the
in the
cast of both movies.
second one. Yep. Okay. Do you want me to go into the plot overview for each then? We can do that.
Oh, whatever you want to do. This is your Katelynn month. You can talk about whatever if you want to talk about a completely different movie, I don't care. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
have
actually, I'd
notes,
like to
but
talk about Sex in the City too, specifically.
I like the part
Okay.
with what's Kate Upton. Yeah, that's my favorite part in Sex in the City too. Is she in it?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. Unless I missed her.
Who
Okay.
is the other blonde person? Never mind. Just keep going.
Kim Cattrall?
No, it's like a famous, like, hot person that's blonde. I think she was
We're
in the
really
Star
going off
Trek.
the rails.
Alice Eve? Is she in Sex in the City too? Okay.
Okay. In the first movie, Devil Wears Prada, we meet Andrea Andy Sachs, a recent journalism graduate who lands a highly coveted job as the junior assistant to Miranda Priestley. She's very intimidating, a powerful editor-in-chief of a fictional fashion magazine, Runway, in New York City. At first, Andy knows little about fashion and struggles to meet Miranda's impossible standards. Miranda is demanding, cold. That's what those ladies kept saying. Oh, she's cold. Oh, she's cold. And I'm like, oh my God. We all know she is. Shut up. And expects absolute perfection from everyone around her. Andy's coworkers, especially senior assistant Emily, initially dismiss her as unqualified and unfashionable, which is true. As Andy becomes more successful at the job, she transforms both professionally, personally, and fashionably. She changes her appearance, gains confidence, and starts excelling under pressure. However, the job begins to consume her life, straining her relationships with her boyfriend Nate and her other friends. She also starts questioning whether success in the fashion industry is worth sacrificing her values and identity. The story builds towards a major fashion event in Paris where Andy witnesses the ruthless side of ambition and realizes how much she has changed. In the end, she chooses to leave Runway and pursue a career more aligned with her original goals, though she leaves with a new understanding of Miranda. 20 years later-ish, we pick up after the original film and we revisit the world of Runway magazine at a time when print and fashion media is struggling to survive in a digital-first industry. Andy is now an accomplished journalist but after unexpectedly losing her job, she finds herself pulled back to Runway and Miranda, who is still in charge of the magazine. Miranda, however, is facing some challenges, such as shrinking advertising revenue, corporate pressure, and the growing influence of social media and luxury brand conglomerates. Meanwhile, Emily Charlton, Miranda's other assistant, has evolved into a powerful executive at Dior who controls the advertising money Miranda so desperately needs to keep Runway afloat. This creates a tense power shift between the former boss and employee, while Andy becomes caught in the middle. At the end of The Devil Wears Prada 2, Runway magazine is on the verge of collapse after corporate leadership tries to dismantle the publication and push Miranda out. Andy, now a respected journalist, teams up with Emily and Nigel to try to save the magazine. The biggest twist is that Emily appears to help Miranda by arranging a buyout through her billionaire boyfriend Benji, but Miranda quickly realizes Emily secretly wants to control Runway for herself and pay her back for how she treated her so many years earlier. Meanwhile, Nigel finally gets the recognition that he was denied in the first movie, and Miranda publicly lets him take center stage during a major fashion event, acknowledging how much she has relied on him over the years. In the end, Runway is saved when Sasha Barnes, Benji's ex-wife, purchases the parent company instead, preventing the magazine from being gutted by corporate investors and AI-driven media plans. Miranda keeps control of the magazine, and at least for now, but the ending makes it clear that the future of traditional fashion journalism is still uncertain. Andy chooses to stay involved with Runway, though she's on more equal footing with Miranda. The final scene mirrors the ending of the original film. Andy and Miranda share a quieter, more respectful exchange that suggests that finally they understand each other, rather than ending as enemies, and it's more of a mentor, or rather than ending as enemies or mentor and assistant, they end as two ambitious women who recognize the costs of the careers that they've chose.
Sounds like probably what happened in both movies.
That sounds probably
Excellent
what happened there.
summaries. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
here's a fun game. We've done 29
Yeah.
episodes of this show, a little over like 30 movies with our bonus episodes and stuff. What do you think I thought of The Devil Wears Prada and The Devil Wears Prada 2?
I think that you liked the first one and you didn't like the second one.
Incorrect.
Flip?
No, I like them both. I like the second one a little more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did think these were both pretty good movies. And I apologize for dismissing the first one for 20 years because I thought it was just a girl movie. That was very narrow-minded of me. But yeah, they were both pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's my thoughts. I think that's about it.
Well, you'll hear mine throughout the movie or throughout the show. I feel like I would have liked the second one more if this situation didn't happen. Like,
You
I want to be free and clear.
you need to see the movie
I think I'm
again.
a little tarnished.
Yeah,
I think I'm a little tarnished.
that's fair. So I separated them by movie, so I can talk about I guess there's not really much to say about director thoughts. He's directed some other things, but nothing like, I think it's all just kind of like crowd pleasing jank. Like, didn't he do Marley and Me? And
Yeah. Did you say jank?
yeah, just like nothing good. Like,
Um,
this will be the movie that's on his, or these two will be the movie on his tombstone.
right. I just wrote directed both films. I have seen both films.
Remind me not to take drinks when you say things.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. That's all I got for Dave
Yeah.
for Davy. Davy
So
boy.
I do think both of the movies tackle a little bit different themes. I think the first movie, the main theme, I think is the theme that comes up most often on this show, at least so far. And that is the idea of,
Capitalism.
well, yeah, that I do have that in there,
Oh,
but just the like becoming great and the cost it takes to achieve that. So, The
mm-hmm.
Color of Money, Marty Supreme. I'm sure there's more.
Very Marty Supreme.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess Goodwill Hunting, you could say. Let's say The Moment. A lot of movies that we watched for Katelynn month.
Does that say something about me?
I mean, maybe it does, but I think it's just a theme that people like to come back to over and over again because it clearly affects so many people.
Yep, it does. Yeah, I wrote work-life balance and the cost of success because and that kind of goes for both movies. It's more prevalent in the first one, I would say. There's a line that Nigel says to Andy, and she was like, she's so demanding. She's always calling me and whatever. And he goes, "Let me know when all of your personal relationships, fall apart. Then it's time for a raise,
Yeah.
or then it's time for a new position or promotion." And um, I don't think that is the case in my job, thank goodness. Um, but yeah, probably these high-powered like positions where people are on demand all the time. There's no such thing as work-life balance.
Well,
You're
I
just
think
work.
that's where at least where I talk about capitalism in my notes, the idea of how you perform at your job defining you as a person is just such a
Hmm.
capitalist notion of, this thing that we have to do in order to survive and just enjoy life and make money it shouldn't be what defines us as a person. And I don't think it's necessarily bad to find enjoyment and fulfillment in your job. And it clearly, the Miranda Priestley character or Anna Wintour in real life, they do enjoy this and they're good at it. But
Yeah.
there is also something wrong. I mean, even like the Stanley Tucci character, like, is it worth having everything in your life fall apart? Like, that's part of his character arc in the movie is he's so excited that he's finally going to get to go to Paris and see Paris because he has put in the work and, let this job take everything from him. And, in the end, he doesn't get what he wants. So, yeah,
Right.
just that idea of like, if you want to reach a certain level of success, you have to sacrifice so much. And is it worth it? Because at the end of the movie, I guess spoilers for the end, Andy decides that it is not.
Hmm. I gave that away. I gave that away
Yeah,
already.
that's true.
That shows how much you were listening.
I zone out during the
More
plot
on that
summary. I
though.
saw the movie,
It's
so.
It's almost like you actually might have read my notes again. I know you didn't. But that's kind of exactly what I wrote
I
when I
did
say
not
that.
read your notes, but you know what? I looked at your note thing the other day, not like these notes. Can you please just split your thing into more than one file? How do you scroll down? There's like 30 some movies in there. You just have one big
I
old
create
list.
they all have tabs.
Oh,
They
do
all have
they?
tabs.
I just looked at it on my
So
phone and I
I just
didn't
click
see
it.
the tabs. Okay. I hate your organization system. If I were your boss,
They're all titled.
I don't like it. I guess it doesn't show up on my phone. I can look at it
And
on
then
the
you just
computer.
click it and it bounces right to the movie.
Okay, well, does that do that on your phone or just on your computer?
No, I don't look at it on my phone.
Okay, so I
The
only
only
looked
thing
at
I
it
look
on
at
my
on my
phone.
phone are the social clips.
So anyway, if I was your boss, I would make you be organized in a way that I prefer, which
My boss doesn't look at my notes. What I was going to say is that oftentimes when you meet someone and they want to learn about you, the first thing they say is their job.
mhm.
And I go out of my way not to say like what I do or, who I am. I like to say other things about myself, like, oh, I like to travel and I have a dog and I like to decorate my house and I love eating fancy foods and, having really expensive cocktails. Like, when also I do,
Mhm.
oh, if they specify what's your job.
And I
But
don't
your job
mind.
shouldn't define you.
Yeah, I don't mind talking about my job because I think it's interesting and I like what I do, but it also isn't me, and my job ends at 4:15 every day. And maybe that's why I'm not rich. I don't know.
Maybe if we worked past 5, we'd be doing something different here.
But I would miss my dog and my wife and recording a podcast and going to see movies, and those things are just infinitely more important to me than
Well,
chasing
that's what
that
I mean,
paycheck.
I like to go see movies
Mhm.
and I like to cook food and everything else. So make sure you have a work-life balance
Mhm.
or you could lose all of your relationships
Or you could
because
become
people won't
like
put up with
the
that shit.
editor of Vogue. Who knows?
I should be the editor of Vogue.
Okay, so just some more. Like, I think I did partially wear my office shirt because of BJ Novak, but I did wear it because of the scene in the office where Michael does not realize that Meryl Streep is the villain of this movie until the end of the movie. Because I do think that is
Good
one of the
one.
problems with this movie, and I like these movies, but I do have some issues with them. Is that you
Okay.
just kind of you like the Miranda Priestly character, even though she sucks. Like, it's funny the way she behaves. It's almost like Michael. It's not, a comedy the same way The Office is terrible, but you end up empathizing with Michael Scott, even though if you knew that person in real life, they would be awful. And the things that I like, Meryl Streep is so good at the performance and just the cutting, cold
Yeah.
remarks that you like her because it's a movie. But if it was real life or if it was portrayed differently, I don't think you would empathize with the character nearly as much as you do.
Well, I think that, and we're not really going at theme anymore now. We're just kind of all over the
It's
place.
fine.
But if there's one thing about Miranda that I could see being like a thing, it's that you want her to like you, No matter how mean she is to you, you keep trying because you're like, if I can cut through that exterior, like I'm worth it, like I made it. And it actually makes me think a lot about you, Paul.
Because I'm so mean.
No, you're not mean, but you like you're protective of your time, right? Because you'll often say, no, I don't want to do things or I don't want to go places. And it's like, okay, if Paul finally says he wants to go somewhere, you're like, oh, he must like me. Like he wants to hang out with us.
True, I
'Cause
guess. I'm just honest about
do
what
you
I
know what
want.
I mean?
I've only got so much
So
time,
it's,
I've got to
I
record a
don't know. I mean,
podcast. I was going to
we're just
say,
lucky you make time for us.
see, you say that, and now I don't want to say it because if that is like me, but isn't like she just doing what like pickup artists do and just like negging people? So like, you want their approval because you're getting negged. Like, oh, Katelynn, your hair's would be so much nicer if it was. I don't know how to neg someone. How do you neg someone?
I
Your
don't know. I
hair
don't
is
think I do
pretty,
it.
Katelynn, but wouldn't it be better if it was brown? Isn't that negging? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if that's what
Or
that
like, if
is.
you'd be so pretty if you tried,
Yeah.
and then you kind of like, I don't know, just the like
I don't know. I
that's
guess there's
seeking
that.
someone's approval because they're being mean to you and you want their approval.
But that's exactly what Andy does halfway
Yeah,
through the movie.
it works, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Not great behavior.
It shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't work. It's not great behavior, but she got Miranda and her both kind of got what they wanted. She got the approval of Miranda. Miranda finally trusted her to bring the book to her house. Like, the book, thank you. Um, we should continue with themes so that we don't get too lost. Do you have another one?
For the first movie, not really.
Okay, for the first one, I said um identity.
Okay.
I'm gonna elaborate. Um because at the beginning of the movie, Andy starts out as like a very strictly journalist type of girl, doesn't read Runway, that's frivolous. Like I wouldn't even go into that book, like or read that magazine, whatever. But through multiple series of events and that amazing monologue about the cerulean sweater, we even as the audience realize that we are more influenced by these publications than we actually know. Um, and yeah, I got lost again. I'm sorry.
No, I
And then
think
Andy's physical makeover,
yeah.
then after that, Andy gets her physical makeover and changes basically her identity to fit in with the people at Runway.
See, I don't necessarily think she changes her identity. I just think her identity evolves. And I actually really liked her character development in this movie because I don't think she's necessarily trying to fit in with the people well, I mean, she is to a degree, but she still likes the things she's doing. I think she grows to appreciate fashion and she likes dressing well and
Yeah.
like doing the things
Oh,
that
yeah,
she's getting.
definitely.
It's not, I think at one point Adrienne Garnier like just calls her a sellout or something. And I don't think she ever sold out, but I think one of the themes of this movie is kind of just evolving as you grow. And I don't think it's ever really, at least that part of Andy's journey, is played like a bad thing. Like, yeah, she did kind of move beyond her boyfriend and her friends, but she was changing. In your 20s, you change. In your 30s, you change. In your 40s, you change. You might not necessarily have the same friends you had when you were 20 because you grow apart, because you become different people. And yeah, so identity and like kind of the evolution of yourself as a human being. I thought it was portrayed really well in this movie. At least from Andy, because I don't think Miranda evolves. I think she was just a bitch.
I like Miranda. Well, that kind of answers my question because I wrote, can you adapt to a new environment and still stay true to yourself? I think that there was maybe a few small moments in the first film where it was almost like Andy could have tipped over and just become a fashion bitch and, completely forgot her roots. But then she turns it around at the end because she's like, wait a second, I'm not that girl. I'm not going to screw over people who have been by my side for however long. I don't know if they ever say how long Nigel and Miranda have been working together, but she's like, I'm not that person. Like, I can change my
Mm-hmm.
exterior, I can change my outfits, I can wear Chanel, I can put on these, Chanel boots, but I'm still who I am on the inside.
Mm-hmm. I think even at the end when she calls Emily and gives her like Emily's not very kind to her throughout most of the movie, and
Mm-mm.
she didn't have to give Emily what she wanted, but she does because she ultimately chooses to be a kind person. Whereas I don't know, Miranda's worldview, kindness is seen as a weakness.
That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Man, I wish she would have called me to give me the clothes.
Well, she didn't know you. You were in 2006.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know. You were
I
not
was
born yet.
graduating high school.
Oh,
I was graduating high school. The other thing I had for the first one, I just wrote feminism and female relation or leadership. Um, because, although Miranda and her lack of work-life balance and cold demeanor, but she was still like hustling at work, doing an amazing job. Um, yeah, a lot of things fell, but that just kind of shows like how much women are doing, right? Because not only was she working, but she had to take care of the twins. Had
did she
to
take care
do
of
all
the
that
twins though?
other.
I have to imagine she had a nanny.
I don't know. The nanny wasn't getting the Harry Potter manuscript,
Sure, but because she didn't think anyone was
or
going to get the Harry
she
Potter
said they need the
manuscript.
boogie. They needed a boogie board, and she made Andy go get the boogie board. Like, where?
Well,
So
because I
there.
think
I
she's a
don't
bad
know if there
person and just
was.
likes torturing people.
I think torturing her was making her go get all those Hermes scarves. Or no, Emily got the Hermes scarves. What else did she pick up? She picked up something else.
I don't
And the
remember.
coffees, she got coffees and something else. Um, and then the final thing I wrote was just fashion. The
Yeah,
theme was fashion.
I thought
Um,
everyone was really well dressed.
yeah, like even though it was kind of like a backdrop, I think this story could have been told other places too. Could have been like a Fortune 500 company, a bank or something like that. And for them to choose fashion to allow us to have kind of that watch the journey of Andy through her clothing. And, I remember watching it in 2006 and it helped me learn a lot about luxury designers. Obviously I wasn't affording any of it at that time, but I think it helped me be the fashion girly I am today.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that's an important part of the movie, and I don't know. Viewers of this show can probably tell one of us cares about fashion and one does not. This movie certainly did not change my mind. You mentioned the like Cerulean sweater speech, which is probably the most iconic speech from the movie, and I think again that's just part of like Miranda blowing smoke up her own ass and like the inflated sense of
No.
ego that she has.
No.
That shade of blue existed long before Vogue and will exist long after. Like it's not just
No, but
Miranda.
that's not the point. That no, but then you're not understanding the conversation. The conversation is that although it existed at a certain point in time, they decided that that was going to be the color and put it in the magazines. And then the designers put it in their shows, and then they made copies and put it in
No, I
the
get it.
Nordstroms
I'm
and the
definitely
Saks.
getting it.
And no, and you think that you were also not affected by it? You absolutely are, because somebody made that anime and somebody had to make merch so that people would watch the anime, and you bought the clothes because you like the anime. It's the same thing. You
It's a
think
little.
that you were not
It's.
affected by this, but you absolutely are.
I think that if you enjoy fashion, I wouldn't shame you for that, and everyone can have their own interests. But it's a lot of navel gazing and just like way more self importance giving to the myth making of Anna Wintour than. I mean, I'm not saying that she's not important and like the thing she's not good at her job, but that speech failed to convince me of the import of fashion.
No, it gets me every time. And I gave you a similar speech when we were watching the Oscars, and I go, oh my God, brooch, oh my God, brooch, oh my God, embroidery. And guess what? Guess what, listeners? This guy wore a brooch.
It was a
He
pin.
did it. Whatever. But you listened, and you took a fashion advice.
I mean, sure. I'm not saying that like you can't look good or like that those things can't matter to you, but
That's not what I thought you were saying.
okay. Well, they're giving it more importance than it deserves. It deserves exactly as
Okay.
much importance as any one person places on it.
All right, what about part 2?
Part 2. I might have had more thoughts about part 1.
Oh, I thought you literally told me you didn't have any more.
More. Oh, you mean themes or just thoughts?
Yeah.
So I think the theme of part 2 is the death of journalism and just capitalism using the internet to consume everything to the point that it even neuters a giant like Miranda Priestley. I think one of the themes is billionaires are idiots. And yeah, just the way even in the last 20 years the culture has shifted so much because of these little rectangles that we have on us at all times. I think the
Yeah.
reason I liked this movie more than the first one is because I do think it is dealing with just like a prescient topic that just rings so true today because it is happening right now. Like I forget what the company is called in Devil Wears Prada 2, but it's Condé Nast, and Condé Nast gobbling up all these other publications, and like something that was important to me at one point in my life was Pitchfork, and Condé Nast bought Pitchfork and has just slowly destroyed Pitchfork, so that it's like just like any other music publication now, and now if you want to read comments or see scores, you have to subscribe to it. And I get that people have to make money, but like in the early 2000s when The Devil Wears Prada came out, like Pitchfork was the only place to go to, well, not the only place, but like the most accessible place to go to get information about indie rock. And now it's like, oh, well, they're just going to review fucking Taylor Swift like everyone else. So yes. And I don't know, we can talk. Tonight is the last night of Stephen Colbert on CBS, and just like, sure, the late night show's not exactly like hard hitting journalism, but just like these companies combining and killing off the people that are supposed to like hold politicians and like all these other people with money, like shine a light on the shitty things that they're doing, and yeah, that's going away. And not that I read Vogue, but I do think Vogue probably does have an important culture section that, maybe has just gotten, I mean, probably like every other magazine, just kind of neutered because they're just chasing clicks now.
Yes.
So that's the theme
All
of The Devil
that I
Wears
can
Prada
say
2.
yes to.
And I like one more
because
thing. I'll stop.
Yeah.
But the way that they use these characters again 20 years later to tell this story, I thought was really cool. And that is why I think I like the movie a little bit more than I like the first one. Now to you.
I did write influencers suck, even though, I'm trying to be one.
Mhm.
It's hard. It's hard out there. But as much as the way in 2006 that a Vogue magazine or a Pitchfork or whatever was guiding trends, it's the same thing with these influencers now, because they put up one thing and now everybody's doing it. Like they go to Trader Joe's and they're like, oh my gosh, they have a Trader Joe's tote. One person puts it up. Now everybody needs to get in line and get a Trader Joe's tote. If you don't have a Trader Joe's tote, you're not cool. I don't have a Trader Joe's tote and I'm just fucking fine, you know? And I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing that there's new people kind of guiding trends, but a lot of it is just for mass consumption. And it's just yucky. You just don't need all that shit.
Yeah. And it's, again, like the when things become more concentrated, it's just, just fewer and fewer people. And like the people that own Condé Nast don't care about fashion or music or whatever. They care about money, and clicks equal
They
money.
care about money.
And that's it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is the death of culture.
Mm-hmm.
And the people
they
like
even talk
Andy
about it
Sachs,
in the second one.
Yeah.
They even talk about in the second one, she's like, well, what are the metrics on that?
Mhm.
Did anybody actually click your article and things like that? So, I mean, that's all that it matters. And then I was even trying to read an article today just from a news publication, like the local news station. And every time you would scroll, it's another ad.
Mm-hmm.
Then the ad would cover the screen. And then you had to keep scrolling, but then the ad became the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't even read the damn article.
I can talk about the death of journalism and even internet journalism for a long time, but I guess we should probably focus more on the movie, right?
I know. You're right. No. You're right.
Anyway, you're talking about Trader Joe's totes. I'm trying to become an influencer too, so everyone should get your Ann in a bag. Just carry
your Ann bag.
Carry your Ann bag. We're gonna clip this and try to
Ann?
Man. Yeah, Ann bag, the new trend. Okay.
Cute. We're gonna start it. Starting it tonight. The other thing that I wrote was mentorship and equality, because in this one, the dynamic does change between Andy and Miranda. It's less of that boss dynamic, but more of an equal dynamic. And I think it's so funny at the beginning that whether she was faking it or not, Miranda says she doesn't know who that person is. It's just another way for her to be like, you're not important enough to me to remember. But also, it was 20 years ago. So I guess if I had an employee work for me 20 years ago, I probably wouldn't remember.
For less than a year. And obviously, Miranda or Anna, whoever, meets so many people that I don't remember people I worked with 20 years ago. Like, it happens. I couldn't tell if she was joking in that moment or not, but it was funny.
Miranda does not joke.
Yeah.
She
probably doesn't.
That'll be all. And just and then I just wrote that like the relationship revolves from being like really toxic into something just a little more balanced. It's not perfectly balanced, but I think that, the look at the end of the second movie, like I mentioned, is different than that look at the end of the first one. She kind of looks at her and goes, and like gets back in her car. But in the second one, it's more of like a,
yeah, I agree with that. And I do think
just a subtle.
The character of Miranda has kind of been brought to heel. Like, she isn't as powerful as she once was. And so Andy being able to come back and wield even the like influence that she has, just kind of, I don't want to say cuts Miranda off at the knees because she still holds a lot of power, but they are more unequal.
But it's hard to be in charge of a quote dying industry. I guess.
It is. I guess speaking of mentorship, like Andy's intern, their relationship is good, and at the end you see that she's promoted to actually like a features writer, and so that was cool because it shows how just Andy as a character and like choosing kindness is a better mentor than Miranda ever was.
It's a beautiful sentiment.
Thanks.
Because, I mean, even Emily having to leave or, not having to leave, but they say, what does Miranda say, that she got her the job over at Dior or whatever?
She was kind of forcing her out, though.
Yeah, she was forcing her out. So it was like, even though Emily worked so hard and tried to get whatever position was next, she wouldn't even give it to her.
Yeah.
No matter how hard she worked. So she was literally starving herself to death and then eating a piece of cheese, getting sick, getting hit by the car. And it still wasn't enough for her to like get a promotion.
Yeah.
Well, I feel that.
Same. Okay, so gosh, there's just a lot to cover with two movies. This is hard. This is really our first time doing two movies where we're not comparing the movies. But I guess comparing the movies, some of the things I don't like about the second one is what it kind of does to the character development you get in the first one. The fact that Nigel is still working there 20 years later after what Miranda did to him, like that is the crux of like Andy's decision. And you can see the like heartbreak in his eyes when that happens to him in the first movie. And then they kind of hand wave it away in the second movie. He's like, oh, what did she do? oh, she's done things like that to me so many other times over 20 years, and it just
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
his
they did
character
do
look
that.
weak. And then just
Yeah.
Andy too, I think, like, just at the end of the first movie, she comes to the decision that she doesn't want to be Miranda, but then she's scheming so hard in the second movie to make sure that Miranda doesn't lose power. Like, would it have hurt Andy at all if Emily had been in charge of the magazine? She still had a really good relationship with Emily. She would have been able to. I mean, does Andy actually believe in the myth of Miranda Priestley and like that she's the only one that can really do this job?
Well, maybe M- Miranda is more of a figurehead than at that point, and maybe that figure of that old media, so that things don't switch to just on your phone scrolling TikTok videos. Maybe she's looking at it like she needs to stay in charge because she has been doing it this way for so long, and that's how I want it to stay. If it,
Yeah,
it
but
changes
that's
hands to Emily, it could go more of that like TikTok 30-second video kind of thing, and writing those articles would essentially be gone, and that's Andy's job, is writing these features.
that's true, and I guess we don't know what a figure like Justin Thoreau would have done. But I mean, if we're basing him on Bezos or Musk, he's obviously going to make things worse. And then
He's going to destroy it.
you have to be favorable to him. But again, I
Yeah.
think Andy and Emily almost had a better relationship than Andy and Miranda. So Emily being in charge, maybe you get that speech from Miranda, like, "Oh, you couldn't actually do this job." But again, I think that's Miranda and her just like giant ego thinking she's the only one that can do it. And not to say that she isn't good at the job, but that doesn't mean someone else couldn't do it. And part
Well,
of her character is just
but
being a bully.
what if it's more that she doesn't want this to happen for other people? Maybe she's protecting Andy.
Protecting her how?
Well, because she's going to lose everything, right? Just the way Miranda did. Like, her husband divorced her. She was on her second marriage, divorced her husband, doesn't hang out, whatever, with her
Oh, you mean
kids.
protecting Emily, not Andy?
Well,
Because Emily would be the one in charge of the magazine?
oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about, yes. I thought you were talking about the speech in the car at the end of the first one.
Oh.
That's what I got confused about. Sorry.
What are you confused about, listeners? Are we just flopping all over the place here?
We're just freaking fish out of water here.
Yeah, I mean, I talked a lot about what I wanted to say about the second movie. Katie and I both agree that Miranda is a real villain, though, and there's not a lot of reason to feel sympathetic towards her. So I know she is an iconic character, and obviously Meryl Streep kills it. This is, going to be one of the many things that she's remembered for, but I think they even tried to redeem Miranda maybe a little bit in the second movie, and I don't think she deserves it. Here's just not Paul's therapy corner, but Paul's life
She's
advice
just a
corner.
mean lady. Why does that matter?
Don't
Some people are
be
just
mean.
mean.
Choose kindness when you can. You can still
I
be
guess
a
as a meanie
competent.
myself, I just don't care.
You're not that level of meanie, and neither am I. Like, it's just unpleasant to watch. Like, you can be a strict boss. You don't have to be people's friends. You can be really competent at your job, but you don't have to be cruel to people. So that's Paul's life advice. Be kind and always choose to be kind.
Rewind.
And you can make fun of people, like, on this podcast, I can imply that there's a lot of things wrong with Katelynn, but she knows I'm joking. And at the end of the day, I think she's swell.
I mean, does she? Does she know?
I mean, I keep doing this podcast with you, so I hope so.
I guess something's working. Did you have any other themes? Because I feel like we could head right into like casting with that. We could coast right into casting.
I mean, I think I talked about casting with all of the things that I said about Miranda and Meryl Streep, but yeah, sure, we can do some more casting. I'm done with themes.
Okay, yeah. Meryl Streep was great. I don't think there's anything that Meryl Streep is in that she's not great.
She's
She
incapable of
Streep.
not being great. She's the greatest actress of many generations.
She's wonderful. Anne Hathaway is Mia Thermopolis. Nothing wrong with that. I was trying to think. I couldn't remember if when this first movie came out, if that was during that time when the internet hated her. Do you remember that, where no one liked Anne Hathaway?
I think it was after this. I think people liked her during this. Because this is really early in her career.
When did she... It's whenever she did the one where she cut her hair. The musical.
She
Do you know what I'm
was
talking about?
a musical, apparently. I'm trying to find her filmography, but...
Whatever year that was, because she cut all of her hair off to be in this movie, and then everybody just hated her.
So this is 2006. The Princess Diaries comes out in 2001, so this is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Okay, so she'd had Brokeback Mountain before this. So She cut her hair in a movie, eh? I don't know.
Not Gangs in New York. Come on, help me out here.
She wasn't in that.
No. Give me one. Give me one.
Les
I can do
Mis?
this. Yes.
So that was
That's it.
2012. So that was after The Dark Knight Rises. And I actually
Okay,
quite
so
like
then
her as Catwoman
after
in that movie.
after that, they all started hating her. I'm pretty sure that's when it was. But I like Anne Hathaway because I love Mia Thermopolis, number one. Number two, I don't think there's any movies that she's been in that I don't really like. I like Anne Hathaway, and I like what she does with the character of Andy. She makes her quite relatable, right? I mean, you probably related to her more when she was unfashionable. I related to her when she was very fashionable. So very related, very relatable.
But I kind of relate to her the most in like her 40s, 20 years later, when she's really become the person that she wants to be, that is still kind of fashionable, but that has found, ways to combine her passions. I like Anne Hathaway too. I think she's great in this movie. I like the character of Andy a lot. I've heard certain people call her annoying in the first movie because she's not really a good worker, and I will say I disagree with those people.
I think she's a good worker in the first movie. Sometimes, not.
She becomes.
I mean,
a good
not
worker.
to say.
But again,
Not to say that her fashion has anything to do with her work ethic, but I mean,
no, I think
did she become a better worker when she had on the Chanel boots?
Oh, maybe, because
I know I work
job.
better in my Chanel boots.
Oh, I think that's just trying to get our podcast audience to pay for you to get new Chanel boots. Yeah, other cast members. Stanley Tucci's great.
Emily Blunt's
great. She does a great job of making me not like her, because I think most things that Emily Blunt's in, I just like her. She seems like a much kinder, gentler person in lots of other things, and she's a real bitch here. But I think
that's so funny because I wrote, I think I might be Emily Charlton, but I'm probably more of an Andy.
I don't think you're as savage as
I'm
Emily
somewhere
is.
in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere in the middle. Yeah. I liked how, how stressed she played her, and everything was just like going to be the end of the world if it didn't work out, and you can't get up from your chair and like all that, and then she gets to be with her brother-in-law, the Tooch, her BIL, and there's just like Meryl Streep, there's nothing wrong with Stanley Tucci.
I like his character.
I will go to bat for that man for the rest of my life.
Just the way that he is super competent at his job too, but while taking it seriously, he also shows that he has a heart, unlike Miranda. That he'll be honest with Andy and tell her like, hey, you deign to work here, you're not actually trying to work here. But he's willing to take the time and take her under his wing a little bit. And in the second movie, they go
help her get clothes.
Just go as far to show like he's the one that recommended her for the job. He's been following her career for 20 years, and he does remember her from 20 years ago, and he still cares about her. So like his character a lot, and he does a good job with it.
I agree with everything you said. And then for the second one, the only one I wanted to say anything about again was Simone Ashley. I'm loving seeing her in things. She's starting to get some kind of smaller meat, but meatier roles. She was serving looks every time she was on that screen. Every time that Miranda called her in the office, it was something new. And I was like, girl, come on. She looked good every single time.
The good line, I think, when Andy tells her she deserved it, and she's like, I did, didn't I? That was really funny.
Yeah, that was great.
There's maybe nothing.
And I think she just played that assistant role much different than Emily had. I think from the first movie, it was almost just less chaotic, less stressed. It seemed like she knew what she was doing. Maybe she was an assistant for somebody else before that. It just almost seemed like she knew what she was doing.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know her from much. I was looking at her filmography. She was in a couple of episodes of Broadchurch, but I don't really remember that. I never watched Sex Education. I didn't see her season of Bridgerton.
I did.
Apparently her scenes were cut from F1, so who knows? But yeah, I liked her in this movie. She was good. So I guess, I think one thing that really doesn't work in both of these movies is the romance. Neither of the romances have any juice. Never by Anne and Adrian, and I never by Anne and whatever the guy's name is in the second movie.
I don't think we even really needed
They're on it. Yeah.
Maybe Maybe in the first one as a catalyst just to
To
like
see her grow.
yeah, but in the second one, she says the line to Emily that like, "Oh yeah, my eggs are frozen uptown." That's it. That's
Yeah.
all you need to. She didn't even need to say that, frankly, because why can't she just be a single woman?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it have to be that she just got out of a relationship or is about to be in a relationship? Like, we don't need her to be defined by a man. She's never defined herself by a man.
Yeah.
So why are we writing her as a character who needs to be defined by who she's
Well,
dating?
I almost think that's just a problem with like quote unquote women movies is that they think they need to add a romance element because women want that in all of their movies. And as we know, you
Hmm.
love a good romance or a good hot steamy scene,
I do.
but it doesn't need to be there.
It
This is
wasn't even
still
steamy.
yeah.
He was a dud.
In this movie, yeah, it was the romance was completely unnecessary and just kind of lame, and she's got no
Unnecessary.
chemistry with any of them. So, yeah,
Yeah.
guys that play the boyfriends,
Removed.
total duds.
Remove it. Don't need it.
And
Bye.
not a big role, but like I said, it's nice seeing Rachel Bloom just pop up in things because I like Rachel Bloom.
Who was she?
She was her friend in the second movie that worked for the publishing company that wanted to get her the contract to write the book about Miranda. So if you don't know who Rachel Bloom was, she was
Oh,
on the TV show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. She was the lead of that show, which she co-created with Aileen Brosh McKenna, the writer of these two movies.
there you go.
And I enjoyed the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, so it's fun to see that actress show up in things. She's very funny.
It's great.
Thanks. Thank you.
It's really great.
And
Do
in
you
a
have any
bag.
other cast? And in a bag.
Is there anyone else? I don't think so. Giselle,
No, I think we got him. I think we got him. Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. Uh,
Little Gaga. All right. What about for the plots of these two movies?
Man, we've talked about a lot of my plot thoughts already. Good. I honestly don't know if I have anything else to say about the plots that we haven't said already. I made fun of the romance. I talked
Yeah.
about capitalism. Talked about just the idea that Miranda is blowing smoke up her own ass. Mm, Talked about how they kind of did Nigel dirty by just making him be a pushover. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have any other real thoughts about the plot that I haven't touched on. So why don't you tell us?
Yeah, I think guys can kind of tell that I do really enjoy the first one. It is one of my favorite movies. I go back to it constantly. And my worry, like I said, is that was I tarnished by my experience in the theater? I think slightly, just talking this out a little bit more. But I didn't love the second one as much as I thought that I would. Uh, it almost felt unnecessary to me to make a second one. And it felt like I kept thinking it was a rinse and repeat, but I don't even think they rinsed. I think they just grabbed the same washcloth and repeated everything because it was almost just like they kept pulling the same jokes and trying to do them again. Especially like I felt so bad for hating it too, is when Andy's talking to the second assistant and he's waiting for the book. And she says, "Whatever you do not go upstairs." And to me, it just kind of felt like she was that senior that already graduated and comes back to the school to hang out and is just like
Yeah,
sitting in the back of the class. There was a lot of moments like that for me. That it almost just kind of felt lazy is what I wrote. I feel so bad because I'm going to watch the movie again because I often watch Devil Wears Prada, so I'll just watch both of them like I would normally. But I don't think I liked this one as much.
that's
They
fair.
didn't rinse anything out.
I mean, the way you describe, I do agree that that is a little bit lazy because there's nothing wrong with like including Easter eggs or a little bit of fan service for fans of the first movie, but it was
Hmm.
literally just kind of repeating the exact same things. It was, like
Yeah.
The Force Awakens trying to be A New Hope.
Right. They did have Easter eggs that were fun. At the end, she wears a cerulean sweater.
Oh,
Didn't
didn't.
say a word about it, but she just wore a cerulean sweater again. And it was when, she's kind of coming into her own
Hmm.
and everybody has their new job and all that other stuff. And that was a sweet little Easter egg. She didn't say like, "Hey, I'm wearing cerulean, look." Like everything else just felt so in your face. Like, remember this joke, guys?
Yeah, they had to make it obvious
Did you
because they
just
think
watch
the
it?
audience is stupid.
Yeah. Yep. And it felt lazy to me.
Okay,
So
I
I
agree with
didn't.
that.
That's actually what I wrote was let's remind the audience of that iconic moment in the first one with this little line. That's
That's
what I wrote.
fair. I think the plot just hit so much harder for me in the second one that I just ended up overlooking
Well,
those
yeah, but
faults.
also in 2006, you weren't being a fashion girly, but in 2025, you are somebody who is often on your phone and is, in social media spaces and things like that. So this one would hit more because you are that person.
Yeah.
If I was
It's
in
the
the
kind of thing
fashion
I think
industry in
about.
2006 and not trying to freaking graduate and survive,
Yeah, fair
different
enough.
story. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's how you doing it.
Do you have any favorite moments?
In the first one, I mean, I like I just like the relationship between Andy and Nigel. I don't know if that's a specific moment, but like when he's picking out the outfits for her, I think that's really cool.
That's what I wrote. Yeah.
I mean, I do like the ending of the movie. I think that is because it is kind of all leading to that. And yeah, is there anything else? I don't know, not really. I just liked it. I don't know.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know if you were done yet because it's like it looked like you were ready to do more. So I was like, I'm going to be silent until he's done because I don't want to be a talker over. I 100% agree with the Andy and Nigel relationship. If there's one thing about me, I love a makeover scene. Clueless, anybody? They're doing her hair and coloring her hair in the bathroom. It's fine. So I just think that's so fun and, going around and picking the outfits. And there's a scene actually in And Just Like That where, is that where it's from? Yes, I think it is, where Carrie's going through a closet kind of similar to that and just pulling shoes out. And so it's just like a dream of mine to just have somebody throw like designer items at me. So I really love
Same.
that part. And then just the beginning when she first shows up to the outfit or to the office and she's wearing, that outfit and they're all just like looking at her because she looks so out of place.
I thought she looked
But
cute.
she just like, yeah, I mean, she looked fine. She looked fine, but it was just so funny how you can come into different environments depending on what you're wearing and get completely different reactions to them. Like her being in a frumpy sweater that whether it was designer or not, she wasn't even styling herself. And I think that was probably the biggest part of it because oftentimes I don't wear designer items, but if you style yourself well, the whole room looks at you. Please.
That's why you always carry your Anne in a bag.
If you don't have your Anne bag, then you should just turn around out of the office. I also wrote, obviously, the cerulean sweater monologue. Meryl gives that speech as if she's given the speech a million times. It almost felt like that wasn't the first time she's had to say that to someone, but it probably was the first time. I don't know. But it was just, I love how it was just like filled with actual facts. And she's like, and then this designer pulls it and you pulled it from a Kohl's bin or whatever she said. And that just makes me laugh.
Because you've never been in a Kohl's
And then, no, my mom used to take me to Kohl's. And then the Jarlsberg cheese scene. I know we have our opinions about Nate or whatever, but the man made a grilled cheese. So
that's probably true.
I think that's just
I mean, I
funny.
don't necessarily think he himself is a bad guy or anything. I just think as far as chemistry goes in the relationship, like it didn't work.
I mean,
he was kind of,
they had a little bit of chemistry, but I've seen him with other people having more chemistry. So yeah, this was like a low D+ for chemistry.
Yeah.
D+ chemistry.
He was a little shitty to her.
And
like he didn't even try
finally,
to understand what she was going through.
The mini outfits of Andy Sachs as she's, crossing the street or comes out of the subway, crosses the street,
scene.
gets into the office, holds the door open. I mean, come on. Great. Just great. And then they did it in the second one also. That's one of my favorites from the second, as they're all going from fashion show to fashion show. And so they're just walking and they're all wearing their outfits. And I mean, you can't deny it. The fashion was fashioning.
Fashion is fashion. And I think I did say for the second movie, I did just like the whole thing in Milan. Like everything just seemed very European and beautiful and just like, oh, I mean, I don't necessarily want to be involved in fashion, but seems pretty cool to be there right now. I could be on a fly on the wall.
That mall that Miranda was standing in all alone, I've been there.
Yeah.
I have a photo in there. I have been there.
So impressed.
Thank you. And then Andy and Miranda, when they first met, I just thought that was funny, whether she, knew that it was her or not. She was just being a bitch. And then Nigel finally getting the recognition he deserves.
I did.
I mean, come on.
I like that because I like the character of Nigel, but like Miranda pretending like, oh, he wouldn't want to do that. Like she hasn't realized that she's been holding him back for 20 years.
Her looking at him and going,
come on, that ring so false.
I didn't realize he wanted to do something more with his life and didn't just want to do the art direction.
Yeah.
Oh,
See that right there, they're
me,
trying to
me
make
oh my.
you not feel like Miranda's as much of a villain as she is, because she clearly knew. They've been working together for over 20 years, because it's not like he just started at the like, and she held
Yeah.
him back multiple times. So yeah, fuck that. But yeah, good for him. I was happy for Nigel. I did say
They
I
need
would
an HR
literally
department.
they do have an HR department, because she mentions it that they've had too many complaints when she wants to call someone
Oh, because she
fat but
kept
can't, or she
throwing her
can't like say
jacket.
suicide or something. Yeah. Um or she can't say kill or something. There was just something where she like has to really watch
Well,
her
and
words. So
that
that
and
was funny.
throwing her, I heard she threw her jacket on people. She's not allowed to do that
Yeah,
anymore.
and then she's struggling to hang up a coat by herself. Like, come on. Anna Wintour can hang up a
Yeah,
coat, even if she never has done it
that's
before.
so stupid. That's so dumb. Why would
Katelynn,
she not
I know you know
know?
how to hang up a coat.
I know, because I hung up a coat and left it at your house for a while.
Oh, nice.
Um, what else?
I said the reveal at the end that Nigel was the one that wanted Andy for the job. I know I talked about that before, but I would literally watch another sequel to this movie that's just about Andy and Nigel being BFFs.
Yeah, just like frolicking in Central Park.
Just going through Europe, like just literally Nigel getting to experience Paris for the first time just for fun.
So it's just Tucci in Italy, but with Anne Hathaway.
Yes. Paris is not in Italy, though. Just
No, I know, but he
European
does that
geography.
show Tucci in
Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah, I'd
That
watch
was,
that. They just did it in character, sure.
yeah, I'd watch that. The last thing I had was the celebrity cameos. They really cranked it up in this one. I clocked Gaga, Law Roach, Donatella Versace, but it made this movie, the second one, feel a little more rooted in the fashion portion as opposed to just the magazine, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So,
So you know why there was more in this movie, right? Because with the first
'cause
movie,
they had a bigger
everyone
budget.
everyone was so afraid that Anna Wintour wasn't going to like the movie that they were actually afraid to be a
Oh,
part of the movie.
yeah. I think I did hear that. You're right. Nice trivia.
Yeah. I read things and mostly listen to the big picture. I did. So we didn't talk about it, but I did like Justin Theroux's portrayal of just like a dumb billionaire figure. He was really good at just playing it like so stupidly, but then when he needs to turn on the menace because he has the most money and can do whatever he wants, he does seem like that figure that's just an absolute moron, but can
Hmm.
buy you out of a job.
And I don't want to harp too much on Justin Theroux. There's enough things out there about his appearance in this movie, but I mean, I watched him in Fallout, which was not that long ago. Probably recorded it before this, and he looked hot. So,
Well, I think because he's being an Elon, like you look at the pictures of Elon before he got his face sculpting and hair plugs and Ozempic and whatever else Elon has just done to his body. Like he's basically, because they make fun of like what his appearance was like before, and his appearance
well, he's
still
fat.
doesn't. Yeah, it still doesn't even look as good. Like he still kind of looks weird. So I think he's
Yeah.
just
So it's like no matter how much money you have,
Elon Musk, you still suck.
yeah, we don't care how much money you have, you suck, bro. Do you have any other favorite moments, Paul?
So I have it under miscellaneous thoughts, but in the first movie, the Azure Ray needle drop, like holy shit, 2006, we're throwing in an Azure Ray song that like got me hyped.
What song is that?
What song did they use?
They use that suddenly I see this
No,
is where I want to be.
that's not Azure Ray, and I think you know it.
Well, I know it's not, but
Oh,
you're asking me
it's
what song they
Sleep.
use.
They use the song Sleep by Azure Ray.
You're a little more indie than I am.
Gonna have to listen to it after this podcast is over. Azure Ray is a
Yeah,
band
'cause
that I
we did
really
not
liked.
buy the rights.
They were on Saddle Creek Records, which was, a big record label for me in the early 2000s. Record label founded by Connor Oberst of the band Bright Eyes. Maria Taylor from Azure Ray dated Connor for a long time. Yeah. So it was a CD that I had and really loved, and it's on the soundtrack, and I didn't know it was in here. And it was just really cool, like, nice blast from the past that showed up in the movie.
Yeah, that is a nice thing.
Hmm.
Okay, I mean, we kind of talked about both of the endings. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about those?
Not really. I like them both. They're both good movies. As far as Katelynn month goes, the only one I didn't like, Romeo and Juliet. That was a real stinker. But Katelynn month, you picked a lot of good movies, and I didn't know if I was going to like this or not. I didn't know a lot about it, and they were both really enjoyable.
Well, maybe deep down inside, I knew I'm like, there might be something here. Because I wasn't trying to fool you with my choices. I
I
wasn't
know.
trying to fuck with you. That's why, I mean, I've never seen Good Will Hunting before. I just wanted to watch it. And I thought, oh, maybe he'd like this. So I put it on the list.
Yeah.
I'm not going to choose all my girly pop movies. If that's the case, then we're just going to watch my top 4. You're just going to watch Call Me By Your Name 5 times.
I've already seen it once. Don't need to do. We should just start a spin-off podcast where we just talk about Call Me By Your Name every week. Just have a different guest on to get their takes on Call Me By Your Name.
And what did you think?
The Timothy Chalamet
No.
cast.
I like where you're headed.
Yeah.
Let's noodle on that
Okay.
more. Any other miscellaneous thoughts before we wrap up?
No other miscellaneous thoughts.
I'm gonna watch it again when it comes out on VOD.
So
because I think it deserves more of my attention.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
my miscellaneous thought.
Your experience was marred by the talking women. You and Katie did serve as a bit of a shield for me between them. You were a little bit of a sound barrier, even though you're not that great as a sound barrier. I wish you were like 20 feet taller, like that. Why are you like this tall? So they didn't bother me as much as they were bothering you, but they were still really annoying. And I'm sorry that you were the one that got sat next to them. But I hope you give the second movie a chance because I enjoyed it a lot.
You heard it here, folks. Paul loves The Devil Wears Prada. Do you have any non-movie shout-outs?
So this kind of ties into some of the things.
I thought you were reaching for Anbag again.
No, everyone, if you have a chance, read the article, The Feed is Fake by Lane Brown. It was in New York Magazine. I think it ties into some of the things we were talking about here, and it just ties into why it's so hard for us to make a successful podcast, because the feed is fake. And then my sister Taylor's getting married tomorrow, so by the time this episode airs, she'll have been married for a couple days. So happy wedding, Taylor.
Happy congratulations. I can't wait to see you, Taylor, and say that to your face. Why don't you could link it out. You could link out that article if you'd like. You can delete this, me telling you that, but you can link it out. And my shout out, I already said it, but this is my anti shout out. Again, I hate you, MJR. That's it.
It's not more fun there.
It's not more fun. Nobody clap anymore. Everybody send them an angry email. I even left a TripAdvisor. I left a TripAdvisor review because I'm so angry. Oh boy. All right. Do you want to tell the people what's next?
So we're going to be doing Steven Spielberg next month. It will be our first month ever focusing on one specific director, but Disclosure Day is coming out. And I think Steven Spielberg is a director that we both enjoy a lot of his films. I would say, at least for me, one of my favorite movies of all time, Jurassic Park. But I do have a lot of Steven Spielberg blind spots, so we're going to be filling in some of those blind spots.
He's got a lot of fucking movies.
Yeah, we're going to revisit some that we have seen in the past, but haven't seen in a long time. So I think we're still noodling on the schedule a little bit because we've got to nail down our guest appearance for June. But yeah, it'll be a Spielberg movie. And I think another thing I would like to do in the month of June, you can say you don't want to, but if we can get a bonus episode out by the end of June for our top 5 favorite movies of the year so far.
Yeah, maybe.
Halfway through the year, we talk about what we like so far. You think we can handle that? I don't know if that's a yes or a no, but maybe we'll have that. So Katelynn, you tell our dear listeners where to find us on the stupid little phone
on the
box.
The scrolly box.
The scrolly box.
Yeah, on the
killing
scrolly
journalism.
box, you can find us on Instagram at theme.onscreen. I actually just posted something while we were doing this episode, so you're gonna be surprised by that, Paul.
Oh man.
You can find us on Letterboxd. Follow our movie watching journey there. Same name, Theme on Screen. We're on YouTube, Theme on Screen. Just like, subscribe, and rate the podcast. If you have a moment, just leave us a 5 stars if you like it. If you don't like it, don't write anything. Actually, I don't want to hear it, so I can't handle it right now.
I have noticed an uptick in people watching on YouTube instead of other podcast platforms. So yeah, if you're watching on the YouTube, just make sure you hit that subscribe button and then tell your friends, your children, your parents, coworkers, whoever else to subscribe to us. Because yeah, it's cool that people are
maybe not your children. We swear a lot.
Oh yeah, all the YouTube videos are marked not for children, so you probably won't be able to find it in your algorithm. But yeah. Anyway,
NSFW.
That's what we've got for tonight.
That's it. That's the show.
That's the
Sorry.
show.
We're so awkward at closing out. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you at our next month for Spielberg.
Bye.
Bye.